Every night, precisely at 2:47 a.m., a strange sound echoed from the downstairs. It wasn't loud, just the soft tread of footsteps gliding across the wooden floor. Then silence. The Martinez family lived in a small house on the edge of the forest in Oregon. Normally, the house was quiet at night, but over the past few weeks, the atmosphere had started to shift. Luna, a silver-gray cat with eyes that seemed to speak, began to show behaviors that puzzled Sophia and Miguel. Luna no longer slept in her usual bed. Instead, each night she would sit motionless beside the crib of their newborn daughter, Isla, and sometimes she would let out a low growl, directed at a dark corner where the wall met the ceiling. Sophia once thought it was just a cat being dramatic, but the way Luna never took her eyes off Isla, the way she sat there for hours like a silent guardian statue, made it impossible for her to keep ignoring it. Then one night, Luna sprang into action, and everything, from mere curiosity, turned into a desperate race for survival. The Martinez family moved into their new home when Sophia's daughter, Isla, was 3 months old. The small wooden house sat near the forest, quiet and picture-perfect. They had chosen the place to raise their child in a natural environment, away from the noise of the city. Luna, a Maine Coon cat, had been with them long before, always affectionate and unusually intelligent. Once she had found Sophia's lost wedding ring by pawing at a corner of a cabinet for 3 straight days. But this time was different. Ever since they moved into the new house, Luna had become unusually alert. At night, she would often stare fixedly at the ceiling or the cracks of the door. Every time Sophia carried Isla across the hallway, Luna would walk ahead, as if inspecting the path for safety. Sophia used to laugh at her cat's stepmotherly behavior, but Miguel began to worry the night he caught Luna letting out a low hiss, a sound he had never heard from her, while standing in front of Isla's room. Curious, Sophia installed a small hidden camera in the corner of Isla's nursery. What they saw made their skin crawl. At exactly 2:47 a.m., Luna sprang up and stared at the ceiling. No one appeared. Nothing moved. But Luna's ears were perked, her eyes tracking something invisible. She walked toward Isla's crib and positioned herself between the baby and the wall. Then she sat there, completely still, for 10 minutes. Sophia began to lose sleep, her mind filled with worry. She checked the wiring, the plumbing, the smoke detectors. Everything was in perfect condition. Miguel theorized the cat might be reacting to some ultrasonic signal. They had an engineer check for abnormal frequencies, but there were none. They began to wonder, could this be something beyond normal understanding? One night, Sophia stayed awake. She wanted to see Luna's behavior for herself, not through the camera. At 2:47, Luna rose to her feet, but this time, she didn't just sit and watch. She suddenly leapt into Isla's crib, standing protectively over the baby, and began to cry out, loudly and repeatedly. Sophia panicked. "Luna, get down," she whispered, but Luna wouldn't budge. She began to scratch lightly at Isla's onesie, then more forcefully. Sophia rushed over, and just then, she smelled something strange, acrid, suffocating like burning plastic. She leaned closer and felt her head spin. Isla lay still, unmoving. In a panic, Sophia scooped the baby up and ran from the room. Miguel jolted awake at her cries. They bolted down the stairs. Just minutes later, the smoke alarm blared. Smoke was seeping from the attic. They called the fire department. It turned out an old wire, gnawed by rodents, had been sparking silently inside the wall, and if Sophia hadn't acted when she did, Isla's entire room could have gone up in flames while the family slept. A doctor later confirmed that Isla had just begun inhaling toxic fumes. She was kept under observation, but thankfully suffered no lasting harm. Luna had saved Isla's life. The next day, the whole family sat watching Luna as she stretched out under the soft morning sunlight. The cat seemed unchanged, still lazy, still half asleep as usual. But now those eyes, the same eyes that had stood guard over Isla each night, held a meaning deeper than ever before. Sophia held Isla close, tears quietly slipping down her cheeks. She had never imagined that the only one in the house who sensed the growing danger each night would be a creature incapable of saying a single word. From that day on, they moved out, but they carried with them a lesson, that not everything can be explained by science, and that some of the deepest protection comes silently from places we least expect. Luna wasn't just a cat. She was the guardian of Isla's peaceful dreams, a reminder that sometimes life is preserved simply by a pair of watchful eyes in the dark.